traditional territories of the Comox First Nation. We would like to thank them for the privilege of living on their land and the gift of working with their children. We'd like to call this meeting to order at 7:04 on Tuesday, November 25th, 2025, the regular public meeting of the Board of Education of Comox Valley Schools. I want to welcome you all here tonight. We have a very lengthy agenda this evening with many items that I'm looking forward to navigating together with all of the trustees and the superintendent, and hoping that once we see our two trustees that are joining us electronically on the board, that we will have our full complement here tonight to walk through the agenda together. And I'm looking for a trustee to adopt the agenda. Vice Chair Howe?
That the Board of Education of School District Number 71, Comox Valley, adopt the November 25th, 2025 regular board meeting agenda as presented. I don't need to amend the agenda. We're just going to do that one from later.
No, I
Perfect.
don't think there's anything.
Okay, great.
We may need to add a further motion later in the agenda. Actually, that reminds me, I need to find out where I put that piece of paper.
It's okay, I remember.
And I'll see, seconded by Trustee Aldinger. And all those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. And the adoption of the board meeting minutes. Go ahead, Trustee McCallaghan.
That the Board of Education of School District Number 71, Comox Valley, adopt the October 28th, 2025 regular board meeting minutes as presented.
And seconded by Trustee Aldinger. And all those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. The record of in-camera minutes indicates meeting of October 25th, 2025, a regular in-camera meeting. And tonight, we do not have any presentations or delegations, but we will have some verbal pieces connected to some of the reports that are in the agenda package this evening. And just to share, there were a couple of pieces of the agenda that didn't make it into the agenda package or needed to be revised, which reminds me that trustees also need to receive the one updated document for right near the end of our agenda that's been revised. So sorry about that. Thank you. I do not have a lengthy verbal report tonight or written report in our package, mostly due to the breadth of the package tonight. It's a robust agenda, and I'm looking forward to working together this evening on it. So thank you. So I will cede my time to the superintendent for your report to us tonight. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that, Chair. Thank you, and your thoughtfulness to make sure that I could double up my comments tonight, despite the length of the board agenda. So I do want to just take a couple of moments tonight to celebrate some of the exceptionality that's occurred across the district in November, particularly celebrating some of the accomplishments of our students that are connected to sports, to performing arts, as well as applied skills. So we had quite a successful volleyball season here in the Comox Valley, with 6 Comox Valley teams qualifying for provincial championships. The Highland Senior Girls team remains unbeaten this playoff volleyball season and captured the AA Island Championship in remarkable fashion. Despite illnesses, the team finished first in their pool with straight set wins, and in the finals they battled back from early deficit in each of the first 2 sets to stage a dramatic comeback in the 3rd set to win the match. The win keeps their November streak intact and sets them up with a strong provincial seed. They'll proudly represent Highland and the Comox Valley in Kelowna at the provincials. As well, the GP Vanney Senior Boys captured their first island title since 2009 Vanier went undefeated in round-robin play with victories in 3 straight matches. They closed out the tournament by winning in straight sets. The Vanier senior boys team head into provincials in 2 weeks as serious contenders. We had 4 other teams also advance to provincials, and so congratulations to all the players, coaches, and school communities on an outstanding volleyball season. And hopefully in December we can do some provincial tournament updates. Last week, the District Band and Choir Festival returned, bringing together hundreds of students across 3 days of learning, collaboration, and performance. The event featured workshops, real-time adjudication, and some incredible performances. It was inspiring to see students perform on a professional stage and receive mentorship from accomplished clinicians. Our thanks to students, staff, and community partners who support this wonderful annual event. Wow, athletics, some performing arts. Then we have our District Robotics 71s team, who just had a start to their competitive season at the Vancouver Island Regional Tournament, hosted by Shawnigan Lake School. A highlight of the event was Team 7842 Fractal, which probably means something to people who are really smart. And it's made up of 2 Vanier students and 1 Isfeld student. The team finished first out of 31 teams as well, earning the Tournament Champion Award, also receiving a Judge's Innovation Award for their unique design features, detailed engineering notebook, and their strong performance in technical interviews. So congratulations to all students and coaches for this early season success. I also wanted to share that the first grad attire program fitting session for the 25-26 school year was a tremendous success. With ongoing community generosity and support from dedicated staff and volunteers, dozens of students were outfitted with high-quality formal wear at no cost. Additional fitting sessions are scheduled throughout the year, and we continue to seek donations, particularly small suits, dress shoes, and medium or large dresses. Those donations can be dropped off at GP Vanier or Comox Valley Dodge during business hours. It's a powerful program that remains a powerful example of community partnership and equity in action. Earlier this month, Cumberland Community School hosted a Wood Stove Festival outreach event, bringing live music directly into the school. Students in grades 6 to 9 had the opportunity to attend performances from 5 visiting bands, choosing 3 sessions to attend throughout the morning. Feedback from both students and staff was overwhelmingly positive, and again, we extend thanks to the Wood Stove Festival organizers and parent volunteers for creating such an energizing arts experience for our learners. Career education, a shout out to some of our careers folks. We have one here tonight, Don, giving students valuable career fairs and hands-on learning opportunities. Developed by the Ministry of Education and Childcare with the Career Education Society of BC, this week highlights career exploration and connections between school and the world of work. Highland and GP Vanier have already hosted successful career fairs with strong participation from local businesses. Tomorrow, Mark Isfeld will hold its fair, and Na Alatsi will have Bruce Spruce and Totem Design present on Thursday. Glacier View will also welcome community partners later this week for table talk sessions focused on regional career pathways. So a big thank you to all of the employers, community partners, and staff for making this a great week for our students. And these highlights are just a small sampling of what's occurred across the Comox Valley. But I do want to conclude by acknowledging that not every one of our students is on a high-performing sports team or involved in performing arts or part of a choir or part of a championship robotics team. This month can be a tough month for many of our families. It can be tough for members of our community. The days have grown shorter, and colder, that people start to feel the strains. And sometimes there is additional pressures as we move closer to the holiday season. We recognize that feelings of being strained and sometimes overwhelmed are feelings that are shared by more than are shared more widely than we often recognize. So for our staff, a reminder of supports that are available through district programs and through EFAP. And for students and families, a reminder that every school has counselors and caring adults ready to listen, guide, and help, and that even In the busiest and the darkest months, our schools remain communities of connection, strength, and compassion as we continue to navigate these seasons together. Thank you.
Thank you. You may have witnessed me up and about during the superintendent's report, and I apologize for that. And I was on my phone. So I actually just wanted to bring up those two issues at once. And that we were dealing with a little bit of technical issue, trying to connect our two trustees virtually. And there are times where some of us are using our devices for school district related issues while we're in a regular board meeting. I know I will be receiving any email communication questions to the public would come to myself and the superintendent via email through our communication staff. I do use it as my clock, even though I have my big watch on my wrist. And we do have several staff that are on call, or several of our senior team that are on call 24/7. And we have had in the past during a regular public meeting, them being in communication due to complex student needs and often having to leave the meeting to conduct that work. So while we do our best to model what's the word I want to use? We model our focus and concentration to do our work away from our devices. There are times where we are connected. But it is always a good reminder for us in how to try to do our work. So apologies if I distracted anybody with my up and down and wandering around with my very pink phone in my hand. Just wanted to share that. So thank you for that. And thank you for thank you for your report and the recognition that everybody is in a different place at a different time. Moving on to our trustee reports, we have a report in our package, page 14, from our trustee representative, Christy Masak, on the most recent Indigenous Education Council meeting. And Trustee Sack, was there anything else you wanted to add to your report or not? Okay, great. I'm not seeing any hands raised, so thank you very much for your report from the most recent Indigenous Education Council meeting. And next we have the BCSTA Provincial Council report by the trustee McCallum.
I wouldn't have much to say. Most of the information in my report is fairly known to the trustees. The only thing that I decided to add that I thought was worthwhile was in the recent shift in provincial council to be doing less voting on behalf of the rest of their boards. I thought that it was worthwhile to see some of the sort of themes that came up in some of the surveying that we took part in, excuse me. And that you know, was certainly in advance of our annual general meeting in the new year, and might be interesting topics that come up as we're all departing in the next couple of days over to Vancouver to our trustee academy with all other boards of education in the province. So looking forward to that learning. Nothing else to report now.
I'm curious as to what the upcoming AGM will be like. I know there's two trustees in our board that have chaired AGM in the past, and depending on what section you get, what time of day, what motions there are, is yeah, it's an interesting experience. Yeah. All right, thank you very much. Moving on the agenda to our standing committee reports. Our next open committee of the whole report is still January 13th, 2026, with the topic of school growth plans. And the next item on the agenda is our ad hoc policy committee board report.
And I would only mention, I think I would pull more towards the action items. I thought that the report really well and fulsome captured the work. So thank you for your support there, Candace. Specifically, I think that it's great to note that Scott Stinson's criteria that we were working with was helpful, and I think we look forward to the full summary that will be coming soon to the policy committee, and that we did take a moment to mention and hopefully work towards a deep dive to considering some of the policies that were brought forward as a possible support for the district, represented by the work that we did in finance with staff, with Joan Axford recently. So I thought that was something that we were appreciative of her offering, and that it's time that we consider it going forward. So that's all.
See any hands raised from trustees, so we'll move on to the next item, the next report, which you see ad hoc Gender-Based Violence Committee Board Report by Trustee Shannon Ollinger, and I'm going to add Trustee Sarah Jane as well.
Thanks, Chair Waite. Yeah, this report has been a long time in the making, and I feel heartfelt gratitude to this board, our committee, and our partner groups, and the district for supporting this good work. It seems fitting to be presenting this report to the board on International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, which in turn marks the beginning of Canada's 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And I'll just throw in there that these national and international initiatives underscore that, of course, gender-based violence and sexual misconduct is in no way unique to our district, but rather is a societal wide pervasive problem that our district is trying to address. The work of our committee is grounded in the understanding that our students are all growing up in an increasingly complex social and sexual landscape, and that the pace of technological change creates greater challenges in its ever increasing opportunities for exploitation. The committee's work is aligned with the board's strategic plan values, particularly those of safety and integrity, as well as our commitment to learning, unlearning, and relearning, and taking action for lasting truth and reconciliation. I also want to add that it's very much aligned with federal and provincial action plans to address gender-based violence, both society-wide as well as in relation to post-secondary institutions in our province. The report starts at page 21 of the agenda package and comprises a number of parts. The first part reviews the passing of the board motions that led to the committee itself, the terms of reference, the list of people involved in our committee, myself and Trustee Howe as committee co-chairs, Principal Mireille Appleby, Principal Stephanie Baker, District Vice Principal of Indigenous Education, Janine Lindsay, Youth and Family Support Worker, Jason McLean, Counselor Stephanie Morris, District Vice Principal of Inclusive Education, Tara Ryan, District Outreach Counselor, Carla Lasota, and District Parent Advisory Council Representative, Brooke Finlayson. Our committee met all of last year, continued its work into the fall of this year to prepare the report, and anticipates having one further meeting in January to wrap up final pieces. In conducting our work, we tried to seek feedback from as much of the district as possible, including student voice through the district Student Youth Forum, Student Voice Forum, through the District Queer and Straight Alliance, through meetings with youth and family support workers, meeting with counselors at both the elementary and secondary levels, meeting with Indigenous support workers, meeting with educators, including our CDTA president and vice president, outreach with our District Learning Resource Center, and then a survey to staff, students, and parents and families that was open for, I believe, just over 4 weeks and elicited over 300 responses. We also reached out to community organizations listed in the report and listened to feedback from whoever wanted to provide it. The recommendations themselves fall into 3 themes, being prevention, response, and system accountability. and then into 5 categories, which start at page 7 of the report. The first series are policy related. The second series involves staff capacity building. The third series involves student education. The fourth involved promoting consent culture. And the fifth involved district coordination and oversight. Among the policy-related recommendations is the recommendation to create a district-wide policy as well as supportive administrative procedures to specifically address gender-based violence and sexual misconduct, that both policy and administrative procedures be trauma-informed, culturally sensitive, and confidential as far as is both practicable and within the law, and to include common language and definitions to assist in educating and responding to sexual misconduct and gender-based violence. A draft policy was created that incorporates the list of definitions set out starting at page 18. These are definitions that began just with the definitions of gender-based violence and sexual violence and misconduct as the starting point for the committee. And as we explored the number of different examples, realized that there's quite a lot of terminology out there, but ones that But because there's so much, that could be confusing in and of itself, particularly for students who are growing and learning. The policy, the administrative procedure recommendations also include addressing this issue from our existing administrative procedure and creating a new one for this particular issue. Increasing staff capacity, student education, promoting consent culture are all listed through pages 9 to 13. And then we have recommended increased district coordination and oversight starting at page 14, which includes but isn't limited to the recommendation of a district-wide continuing teacher lead position to coordinate and oversee many of the initiatives in the report and to take some of these future actions. I will add also that, noting time, that there are other appendices as well. Appendix C is at page 24 and includes a list of resources that may be of use to educators and the possible district lead. And starting at page 28, Appendix D, Best Practices for Sexual Health Education, and a fifth Appendix E being a list of external educators in areas of sexual health and healthy relationships education, in relation to ending gender-based violence and issues of healthy masculinity, bystander training, 2S LGBTQ+, trauma-informed training, and various other things. I want to acknowledge that many of the recommendations are more operational than board-driven going forward. Our authority as a board lies largely in our policymaking, our budget allocations, our general oversight, and then our continued advocacy to the province. So much will many decisions will be made, not at this table, but at others. And that's the report. Shall I move into motions? Shall we?
I think
Any questions?
we could pause, yes, to see if there's any questions or comments. And Vice Chair Howe, would you like to share?
Yeah, I mean, I did, as always, you've outlined very eloquently the contents of the report. As someone who is sitting on the committee, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I think we all witnessed the hours and hours of outreach that was done in the community, the lion's share of it being done by you and Brooke. So I really wanted to highlight those efforts, the receipt of all that feedback, the collection of all that data, and in the end to compile such a thorough, clear, easy to understand report for partner groups and public was just amazing. Yeah, so I just wanted to, yeah, thank you for expanding my knowledge on this topic. I was passionate on this issue prior to being part of the committee, and I'm grateful to have been a part of this journey with you, and just want to thank you for your tireless efforts in supporting our students in the district and really moving the needle on this. So thank you.
I don't see any other hands raised. I see clapping. I also want to share my deep appreciation to the co-chairs on the committee and all of the committee members and every person that was willing to be spoken to about this topic. I think I've said it here at this table before, but I spent a fair bit of my time in post-secondary dealing with this same topic at the post-secondary level, working on policies, had the opportunity to sit, to participate in the beginning of the action plan for the K-12, well, now the second act that they've created, and the solution always seemed to be it doesn't start when they hit post-secondary. Like the work has to happen way sooner in order for not so much work to have to happen and students and young adults experience what they sometimes experience in post-secondary institutions. And so it was very extensive. There's a lot to read. I really appreciated how it was laid out, the roadmap, and the roadmap to perhaps our friends in the Ministry of Education and Childcare to look at this as a huge piece of the beginning of the work, or pieces that it can connect to the work that the ministry is already doing on this topic. So I wanted to share my appreciation to every person on the committee, the two that are here and the many that aren't here tonight. Thank you. Trustee Clayton.
So thank you. So I'm not going to repeat what others have said, but also a personal thank you to the committee members for the work and the passion and the leadership you brought to our district. And I hope to the province as we move forward on this. But and we look at that, and there's a lot of recommendations, and people just want maybe some I'm not debating the motion, but understanding why the motion is what it is and the purpose of the motion. Because people will understand we have this report, lots of recommendations, and we have this motion before us, and understanding why the motion is the way it is, and maybe through the chair, through the superintendent, there's a reason why we are moving forward with this recommendation. I'm not debating it. I'm just understanding the clarification, because people say, why can't you start this recommendation now? Why are we doing this? And whatever it is, just an understanding maybe to the public and the community as to the process, as to the what next, and then that the ongoing process this report is going to bring, and the continued conversation we're going to have, maybe some understanding so people understand why we're moving forward in the manner that we're moving forward, despite all the work that's being done.
I think Trustee Eldinger, one of the things that Trustee Eldinger stated was that much of the action out of this report isn't the board's in the board's purview. We will receive the report. We will.
Oh, I understand that.
No, I know, but I think, were you asking me to explain?
And the what next?
Right. So I think we actually would need to move into the recommendations to be able to do that. And so if there aren't any further questions, looking to one of the co-chairs of the committee to
Yeah, I'm happy to move the first motion.
Move the recommended motion.
That the Board of Education of School District Number 71 Comox Valley receive the Gender-Based Violence Working Committee's report dated November 25th, 2025, and its recommendations as presented, and request the Superintendent of Schools to review the recommendations of the Gender-Based Violence Working Committee's report dated November 25th, 2025, and report back to the Board of Education. and refer the draft policy prepared by the Gender-Based Violence Working Committee to the Board of Education's Policy Committee.
And seconder, trustee Aldinger. And discussion.
I think it's pretty clear. It was, I mean, our apologies, because there, and now I'm noticed, the redundancies are a little evident in it, and you know how I hate redundancies, but otherwise it's wonderful.
And trustee Caton, I just want to, I'm just trying to channel what you said and make sure that there's clarity in the room as to what's next. If and when this motion passes, we will have turned the majority of the information in this report to the superintendent. We will have pieces of the recommendations that go to the board. And then at a point in time, the superintendent would report back to the board to report back to the board. Tell me what piece I'm missing, because I don't want the public not to hear what you want to make sure that what they should hear.
And the other one here was talking about the policy and how the policy will, there's going to be, the policy will go to the policy committee. So just understanding that clear process, like, we looked at here is the refer the draft policy provision of the gender to the policy committee in the process that when they're just that. There's many people that watch our board meetings don't understand the process. And this is a lot of work and great work, and people are looking for action and understanding there's a process and procedure that we have to follow for, and make sure that we have that clear tonight as we're conversation over the motion, and then what next and what moving forward. And the policy committee will take a process on that one there. It's just my hope that those who are listening understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. And there's procedures and processes we need to follow as we move forward, because this is a lot of work to align with everything that we're doing. So that was my purpose of having this conversation.
Wonderful. And then so for clarification, or I could ask trustee McConnell-Keen to share, but that policy work goes to the ad hoc policy committee, who then brings it back to the Board of Education for discussion, and often there's a level of public consultation with our policy as well. Just want to make sure I'm capturing all of the things. I'm doing the head swivel. So. Oh, sorry, I didn't see your hand. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I'm adding to the discussion because I've been very quiet. I am speaking in full support of the recommended motion, of course, but I just wanted to say that 3 years ago, when we went to this conference that we're about to go to, there was somebody who said, when in my very early in the term, they said, aspire to do the work to intrigue the ministry, to intrigue the top, if you will. Not to sound hierarchical, but I just wanted to celebrate that I think that this committee is like championing that action. And I'm just really, really grateful to be amongst heroes in this work, and excited about what may be next as per process. So let's go.
I'm seeing a thumbs up from trustee Leslie. And trustee Mysak left us and then came back. She came back sideways and then she got righted, so that's good. So seeing no further hands, all those in favor of the recommended motion? And there are none opposed. That was passed unanimously. And would you like this one?
Yeah, I just wanted to, we had some discussions previously to send this report to BCSTA and the ministry. So I was hoping to just provide a motion to do that, that the Board of Education provide the gender-based violence working committee's report dated November 25th, 2025, to the Ministry of Education and Childcare and to the BC Trustees Association.
It's been moved. Is there a seconder? Trustee Aldinger. Then moved and seconded, trustee Caton.
Just in addition to BCSDA, BCSDA often invites presentations on work that school districts are doing. And I would like our district maybe to add as a friendly addition amendment is that the district would love to present this to all 60 school districts in the province, plus partners. There's over 400 trustees. And I think, and just to say, hey, well, listen, we did this amazing work. Let's present it to our educational community and open that chance, because they often ask for presentations. This is in alignment with their strategic plan and the work that we're doing. So maybe we can offer ourselves as a presentation at one of our upcoming academies, even the Canadian School Board Association, as some information of the work that we're doing that needs to be done.
Add the comment that my recollection is that the BCSTA in doing its advocacy in relation to our past motion around the gender-based action plan, gender-based violence action plan, was that they met recently with the parliamentary secretary for gender equity. And so I might add the friendly amendment that we add that position and person to the list to whom we send the report as well.
So you're amending the motion
own
to add the parliamentary secretary for gender equity.
Yes.
Parliamentary secretary
For gender
for
equity.
gender
Is
equity.
there a seconder for that?
Before we do that,
Okay.
just while we're in an amended state, can we not now just add parliamentary secretary equity and include the final policy,
The draft policy,
or include the draft policy?
okay?
Can we do that? Is that
Yes.
still on the floor?
Yeah.
Okay, if
So-
you're okay with that, because I know you wanted the policy to go.
So,
Sorry,
I
we
will-
don't
it's
amend
okay.
policies
We don't
very
amend
often.
and we've got different colored pen and different people writing.
Yeah.
And we have somebody who will receive the sticky at the end with the amended policy if it's passed. So the initial motion was, and then I'll read the amendment, and then we'll second the amendment, and then we'll pass, or we'll vote on the motion.
I'm gonna need you here.
That the Board of Education provide the November 25th, 2025 Gender-Based Violence Working Committee report to the Ministry of Education and Childcare.
Moved in second.
And to the BCSDA.
The BCSTA and the Parliamentary Secretary for Gender Equity, including the draft policy.
That was the amendment.
So the amendment is to add, the amendment is to add Parliamentary Secretary for Gender Equity and the draft policy. So are you seconding?
Seconding the
Seconding
amendment.
the amendment. Wonderful. I'll read it again. Okay, oh no, you're seconding it. All those in favor of the amendment? Okay, thank you. So now I'll read it again. The Board of Education provide the November 25th, 2025 Gender-Based Violence Working Committee report to the Ministry of Education and Childcare, the BCSTA, and the Parliamentary Secretary for Gender Equity, including the draft policy.
So does that need to be seconded, or can we
It's
just?
been moved and seconded and passed.
seconded.
So now it's the motion. So actually, this is the motion that we're debating is the actual,
Okay,
it's not amended anymore, it's the actual motion.
Okay.
right. Okay, so now I've lost myself. Do we
Any
need a
more
seconder?
discussion?
Ready to
It's
call
moved and
the question?
seconded.
Yeah,
We need a seconder?
It's been moved and
It's
seconded.
been moved and seconded.
so it's just
Excellent.
discussion.
Okay,
and then
so
call the
now there's
question.
just any discussion, not on how the chair handles an amended motion, but on the motion. Okay. I think we've got everyone covered. Okay, all those in favor? Okay,
We did it.
carried unanimously. Thank you. I will provide you this sticky canvas at the end of the meeting. Oh, you want to see it?
Say something.
Oh, can you say something? Yes, or she may
Yeah,
say
I just,
something.
first of all, those are anxious moments for an acting secretary treasurer around Robert's rules, but thank you for getting here. But I did just want to take 1 minute because I think as Trustee Ollinger spoke to, the report is done, it's presented, and then a lot of decisions are made at other tables that fall under the purview of operations and the jurisdiction of the superintendent. I just wanted to take 1 moment to, first of all, acknowledge and express gratitude for the thoroughness and substantive nature of both the report in terms of uncovering truths that exist within our system, and then such thorough, thoughtful, articulated recommendations for moving forward. I think of the work that's also happening right now in our system around uncovering places of inequity through the equity scan. And I think both of these serve as great examples where we are very aware of the truth that our schools reflect society and some of the societal concerns. But it's also through this work, there is a very tangible, optimistic, hopeful reminder that our schools are not just reflections, but can actually shape different outcomes, that our public schools can be places of hope and healing. And so I express, first of all, just humility in knowing that the next steps are complicated, that they're difficult, that there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but just acknowledging that we are not satisfied with just merely reflecting the issues that exist in the larger society, but using the opportunity of our system where we have the privilege and the responsibility to help shape a different society. And so I just wanted to speak briefly to it, and thank you for that time.
Great. Now, the next item on our agenda is Board Authority authorized courses.
Thank you. It's hard.
Just checking.
It is me.
Associate Superintendent.
It's our careers team. It's hard to believe that when you look outside the window that our secondary schools are planning for next year and next year's course offerings already. This is the time of year where we bring forward some new innovative course options that our secondary schools would like to explore and offer next school year. Also fitting timing that it is Careers Week, and our Careers Department, together with GP Vanier and Mark Isfeld, are proposing 2 BAA course options. One that will be titled Health Careers Exploration 11, and the second, Foundations of Human Services 11. And this connects to our ongoing efforts to offer relevant course offerings that connect to future-ready careers and societal needs. I do have our district lead career support teacher, Don Anderson, here in the room, who I'm going to, if appropriate, if that's okay with you, to give a couple minutes description on each of the courses. And Dawn has been a leading force working with our principals to really provide new innovative options for our youth. Dawn?
Thank you. Yeah, I think we work pretty hard and tirelessly to make sure we're providing the appropriate opportunities for our learners. As we know, everything is always evolving and changing. And so with that, we always want to make sure we're creating and supporting students as they take their next steps. And so with that, we get a lot of feedback from students, and when students are registering for courses, we hear a lot about that. And so we have a lot of students that are really keen on the health field. And so we are proposing the 2 courses. So the first one, which one's first in your book? Health Careers Exploration 11. So this is a course where students can go in and they're going to explore careers that you would see in a clinic or a hospital. Okay, so serious health careers. The students will take the course and they're going to look at one guaranteed module that's kind of like an overview that covers basic human anatomy, mathematics, those key things that are associated with health careers. And then from there, students can actually pick with the teacher 3 focused career topics. So the great thing about this is there's 8 topics there for students, so 8 specific careers for students to navigate. And the students and the teacher, they can explore 3 of those per se, or they could explore 5 of them, depending on how the teacher and the students want to do it. But there's tons of resources already laid out for these courses. And so the students and the teacher, they navigate, they dig in, they get to go and tour different facilities. We are working with the ministry as well right now to create a 2-credit WEX. The 2-credit WEX means students can go and taste test in a sector for 50 hours instead of 120. And so it makes it more realistic. So we're hoping that that can tie in as a piece additionally to this, so students get out and experiencing hands-on. And then the second course, that one's a little bit different. That's more allied health. And so what we're looking at is providing supports and services to people who are in critical care. So we're looking at critical care careers. And so this one isn't more so students vote and explore specific careers. You can see on page 2 of that one. This one, there's 6 specific modules that students will look at. One is going out and exploring the workforce, bringing in presenters again. And the other one is allied health professionals and exploring those career paths. And we already have a lot of connections there with our senior care facilities, educational assistants, all those key ones, elder cares. They're going to explore as well emergency response careers. So we have a lot of students keen on and they're taking our EMR programs. But within that, there's actually 4 different broad sectors in there that they can all navigate. So it's expanding. Students can take EMR, but they can dig in and explore the 4 sectors a little bit deeper. And then early learning as well. So very different. One's allied care, and the other one is health careers.
Thank you, Dawn.
Are there any questions? Please. Trustee Caton.
So thank you. So these are amazing courses, and I think that our students will actually benefit from them. But I was actually, over the years, we've had a number of BAW courses come to the board we passed, and I was trying to find how many have been successful and how many are continuing. And I'm just wondering, out of the many BAW courses that are brought to the board, like something like this one here, are the majority of them successful or retweak? Like I'm just wondering what percentage are continuing on, if you have that information. If not, I understand that. I'm just wondering, like, are they been successful continuing on, or we've had to revisit them, relook at them, and maybe children or the students' focuses have changed? So just, I'm not sure who can answer that question.
Well, I'll look to the superintendent to see if they want to.
Thanks. It won't be a full delve into all of the history and where all of those courses are at. Certainly, we could look into providing a more comprehensive response. But what I really appreciate about high schools is a great idea and 25 students is a course that runs. And so without any question, I think BAAs are a response to an emergent need. And I would suggest it likely that there are BAA courses that have been brought forward for approval that may no longer have the same interest level as time has passed. And that's why we continue to see teachers develop new opportunities for students based on current demands. So, even these courses will be brought forward. Having the board approve them means that they can be placed in the course selection process. And now it's actually over to students to vote to decide whether those courses actually run or not. When we actually look at secondary outside of core courses, all of the classes that run because there's a student interest in them.
I'll move the motion, and then if other people still want to continue talking, we can. That the Board of Education of School District Number 71, Comox Valley, approve the board authority authorized courses as presented.
And a seconder. Trustee Kate. Any further discussion on the motion or the course presentation? All those in favor, please indicate. And that's carried. Thank you. And next, we have our 2026-27 annual operating budget development timelines and process. Superintendent?
Yeah, thank you so much. So I'm actually still kind of excited talking about courses, but we'll talk about the budget timeline as well tonight. And so on pages 80 To 82, there's a short briefing note as well as a outline for the calendar. You can see there's information shared in a slightly different manner on the screens. What I would like to just highlight is the timeline really leading up to March the 10th, although there's specific dates, there will likely be some variations. But prior to the partner engagement consultation and feedback session on March the 10th, the intention will be that the acting secretary, treasurer, superintendent, and member of the finance team will be asking for an invitation to a space with each of our partner groups for meaningful consultation. In advance of the public sharing of that information that would take place on March 10th prior to recommendations being made, so an opportunity to solicit that feedback in that process. At the same time, the survey will be open for general public feedback, and so just sharing that it's an earlier engagement process that's intended to be more robust and a different opportunity. I think in prior years we've had a sort of a passive opportunity for if partner groups wanted further engagement. This year we're going to actively seek that out in a setting that makes the most sense for our partner groups, and those partners include IEC, PDP, QP439, CDTA, DPAC, and Student Voice.
Someone to move
That the Board of Education of School District Number 71 Comox Valley approve the 2026-27 annual operating budget development timelines and process as outlined.
speak to the motion. Susan, or are you speaking to the motion, Susan? No? Okay, true seconding, okay. I would like to share, so recently we had a public engagement session and one of the topics was the budget process. And there was more discussion there than there is tonight, but I would like to share my appreciation for the starting the process sooner and how the process has been laid out to have that opportunity for dialogue and discussion at a much earlier date with ideas and wishes and direction and thoughts and alignment to the strategic plan to allow the team to receive all of that information before they build the beginnings of the budget. And I'm excited to see how this is going to roll out, recognizing that we did have some of our ministry is maybe a little bit behind due to some job action and that busy catching up, and that we're hopeful that we'll receive the information when we're hoping to receive it from the ministry and from Treasury Board. So on that note, still seeing no hands. All those in favor? Down, and any opposed? Oh, Susan, were you wanting to speak? No? Okay, thanks. Sorry, Susan. Maybe there's just a slight delay. Okay, where are we? Let's pass. Cute. Here we go. There, thank you. It's over to me. That's why maybe I'm avoiding it. So next on the agenda, and in our agenda packages on pages 83 to 84, our board committee reports are coming before you again. We had a slight revision to our Indigenous Education Council list. We were working with IEC to determine how they wanted us to come to the meeting, and we had a couple of options. And so this is a new list, and working with IEC, they're going to have one consistent trustee attend all of their council meetings, and then the trustees will alternate through. So that is the one change on this list, and seeking a trustee to approve the list as presented.
That the Board of Education of School District Number 71, Comox Valley, approve the revised board committees 2025-2026 as presented.
And seconded by trustee Eldinger. And any discussion? All those in favor, thank you. This almost more of housekeeping, but we just need to make sure that we're providing the information transparently and having the board pass any changes in the committee process. So next, we're moving to information items, learning sessions. And on page 85 to 87 is an enrollment report, and Associate Superintendent Jay Dixon is sitting in the hot seat again and is going to perhaps share some information on the enrollment report with us.
Of how this camera zones right in on you. In front of you is an enrollment report or an enrollment update as to where and how many students we have, both physically in our district and in our online programs. This year, we chose to make it a little more granular for you. So you will see Section 1 provides an enrollment analysis by school and a comparison of September 2024-2025 enrollment information at this time that we reported last year. Our February anticipated projection that we submit to basically predict what we will have in 2025, and the September 2025-2026 enrollment information broken down by school. Overall, from September 2024 to September 2025, you'll notice that we had up or a plus of 19 students compared to last year at this time. And we were one student off of our projected enrollment that we made to the ministry in February. There was fluctuation, as you'll see, between our schools. However, at the end of the day, we came out in a positive state. The other Section 2 I wanted to share was a link where you can log in publicly and look at enrollment reports and other student achievement data. So I encourage everyone to click into that. The enrollment data is actually an interactive graph. So this graph is interactive. You can hover over different years. And I just wanted to note that while we have yet to begin our 2026-2027 anticipated projections, you'll notice that orange line. So that is developed by the Ministry of Education and their data sources. However, it appears that that starts leveling out potentially next year and the years ahead. So let's just, I encourage everyone to click away in there and see what type of data that the ministry provides us. Thank you.
Would the trustee like to move the report and then we can discuss?
Sure, that the Board of Education of School District Number 71, Comox Valley, received the 2025-2026 enrollment report as presented.
Thank you, Vice Chair Howe. Seconded by trustee McCammon. Discussion. I was fascinated by how the ebbs and flows from each school, how the bottom line, and say with that, I'm going to call it cautious estimating. And while like, what a Tetris. Like, yeah. It's and the fact that our funding is hinged on that, and any what can happen if we if even with caution that we overestimate our students and then the impacts to budget.
Really thankful for our school principals, vice principals, local knowledge keepers, our communities, our cities and towns, and they all help us triangulate what our anticipated enrollment will be. And from February on, we track it almost week to week.
Thank you. Katie?
Yeah, just two observations and a question is when I looked at that orange, I'm looking at our funding becoming flat, which is kind of problematic as costs go up. And I see that provincially wise, that student enrollment across the province, not just our district. It's so we're not an anomaly. It's provincially. And when I looked at the ebbs and flows and the -19, -34s, and that one. And I look at that, I look at our boundaries and our catchment areas, and I look at our facilities. Is that cautiously the start of re-looking at some of our facilities to ensure that we have the capacity for some of those incoming students, where we have the classroom spaces, we're not looking at adding portables, and that where you're adding an extra 23 students, there's actually space in that school for those students, and we're not. And then we have a decrease. So when I look at that to me just a bit of flags on some of our school facilities, ensuring that the capacity is there for those incoming students. And then we have vacant spaces at other schools. So I'm wondering if that's something that we need to be aware of as we move forward, especially, with some of the planning that we have to do over the next couple of years. Is that something that we as a district need now to be aware of? Or are we just going to maybe just cautiously hope that it stabilizes?
I think I can speak to that. I think we're always looking at what are egress intake in terms of student population. Connected to this is also as we project and look at the implications of student enrollment, there are significant areas identified in official community plans that will have density and impacts. We've just heard about the remarkable expansion of the military base and there's lots of different impacts that we're always considering. And so, we are always looking ahead at what are the boundary implications as we consider, 3, 5, and 10 years down the road. Can I add one more thing about the complexity of these student numbers, which is interesting? You'll notice that it says FTE, which is full-time equivalency, and students grades 10 to 12 we're actually funded per course they take, not just by the number of students in 10 to 12. So when we are estimating enrollment, it also actually gets right to the granular level of determining the level of coursework students in grade 10 to 12 will be taking. So a student, we might be funded 1.125 if they take a block out of the timetable, for example. And so just when we look at some of those complexities that are inherent within that, our high schools are funded differently. Well, our high schools are funded at 10 to 12 is funded differently than every other grade. It's a head count K to 9 and by course 10 to 12.
No further hands. All those in favor of the motion? Carried. Okay. Thank you. Moving on to business services, the pay transparency report.
Thanks. Thank you. On pages 88 to 92 is the pay transparency report. It's the second time that this pay transparency report has been prepared and shared in the public. What we don't have is the comparison to the first year, which would indicate this year some changes in the disparity between gender and pay in School District 71. I wanted just to acknowledge, though, that it's a template that we follow. And so I think part of the shift is just using better data. And so I don't want to overly celebrate some of the dramatic shifts from last year. I do think it's important in recognizing on page 88 that the vast majority of employees within School District 72 are covered by collective agreements that establish standardized hourly wages based on position. These agreements do ensure that all individuals, regardless of gender, receive equal compensation for performing the same roles in accordance with the terms outlined in the applicable collective agreements. And so there are still areas of disparity, but an example, last year, the mean hourly pay for men was $1. For women, it was 96 cents. This last year, it was 99 cents. The mean overtime pay for men last year was $1, and for women was 79 cents in comparison, and this year's $1.57. So I'm not 100% sure how to answer what all of those significant changes are when the majority of employees are governed through the collective agreement, but it just shows, I think last year was also the first year we asked employees to self-disclose their gender, and just getting more and more of that information in the system is, I think, helpful for this report. So I think it's the beginning of good questions we could start asking.
Thanks, Jeremy.
I think the one thing that doesn't appear that it's included in the template that might make the information a little more understandable or relevant is the percentage of the categories of employees, the non-binary women and men. I think that would probably
Moving forward, we'll
answer
have that,
a lot of the
that's right.
things that, oh, that's interesting. I think I know why, but, you know, anyway,
Thank you.
that was just one of my curiosities
Agreed.
on it. And looking for a mover of the,
The Board of Education of School District Number 71, Comox Valley, received the 2025 Pay Transparency Report as presented.
second, please. Trustee Aldinger? See no further hands raised for comment or questions. All those in favor? And opposed? And that's carried. Thank you. And next on pages 93 to 94, we have the student transportation report. I can't remember if Director of Operations, is going to speak to it. There you are. Thank you.
Yeah, so on page 93 of 94 is the student transportation update. And what it is essentially an update on the student transportation services contract, as well as we highlighted some recent safety initiatives that we undertook this fall. It breaks it down into kind of some background, which includes sort of as of fall 2025, kind of what our service levels are at, as well as on the bottom of page 94, highlight some of those safety initiatives. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay.
Thank you. I do have a question, and it's only because I happen to see this almost every day going to and from work. Is the bus on the highway red lights and has the stop sign out there? And many of the public don't understand when that stop sign is out there, they need to stop. So when I'm looking at the communication, I'm just wondering, as part of the communication plan, are they planning to make a more community awareness of the fact that, yes, you're on Highway 19A, yes, the speed limit is 80 kilometers an hour. When that bus is stopped and the red stop is out there, people need to actually stop. So that was my question when they talked about the communication, is are they going to start communicating that with the valley?
This year we had great partnership with the City of Courtenay and the RCMP and ICBC to help what we called hashtag Time to Stop campaign. And it was launched in late August, early September, just right around the return to school. And the whole point was to raise like the Motor Vehicles Act. This is what a stop arm is. This is what you're supposed to do. Now that communication has to be continuous. It's not just it's called stop. It's just not a one-stop campaign. We've got to keep going with it. So.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, thank you very much. I'd like to move this question. Trustee McConnell-Keen.
The Board of Education of School District Number 71, Comox Valley, received the student transportation update as presented.
All those in favor? Opposed? Great, thank you. Next, we'll move on to the public interest disclosure annual report, also known in our policy as the whistleblower policy.
Thank you. In, I believe it was December of 2023, the board passed the policy 27, the PETA or whistleblower protection policy, which is an expectation for all public organizations. So today is the first time that we're seeing it, as it involves the fiscal year, which ended in June 30th of 2025. And that is included in the board package. It is to comply with legislation, also necessary to post and make available on our district website, and to include the number of disclosures, any investigations and outcomes of those investigations. So this particular report indicates 0 reports filed under the Public Interest Disclosure Act during that period of time.
Questions? Trustee to move the motion.
Question.
Like to move it and then we can speak to it in motion. It'd be amazing.
That the Board of Education of School District Number 71, Comox Valley, received the Public Interest Disclosure Annual Report for the fiscal year 2025 as presented.
Thank you, and seconded by Trustee McConnell-Keene and Trustee Aldinger.
Yeah, just a quick question. I remember the meeting passing the policy in the first place, and I'm just curious what type of messaging has been done in the district. I think, to some extent, a report of having 0 reports is wonderful news. On the other hand, I'm just curious what type of education has been done through the district in terms of the announcement of this policy and the reporting process, and what types of wrongdoing would be reported.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I will actually need to look at what how we have socialized this within the system. What I can say, we have 2 members of our human resources team that have been formally trained and actually just came back from the Ombudsperson's annual piece. I believe at that time it was shared across the province. There was 61 reports through PETA during this last fiscal year. So our report of 0 is not out of step with many public organizations. However, I would think it likely there's more we could do around ensuring people are aware of the protections under the Public Information Disclosure Act. So, but I would like to get back a more fulsome answer on what steps we have taken.
Seeing further hands with questions as we're in the motion. All those in favor of the motion? And opposed? And that's carried. Thank you. Next, we have no unfinished business, and we have a couple of new business items. And the first one is the trustees who are here tonight have before them a trustee code of conduct with a place to sign. And our trustees that are attending virtually will receive one either electronically or be able to pick up next time they are at the board office. And the reason that this is here tonight is that in May of 2025, our board amended our policy for trustee code of conduct. And in the policy, it indicated that we would annually sign to affirm our commitment to the code of conduct. So that's what the trustees here tonight will be doing together. It also states in the policy that when we take our oath of office, when we're elected as trustees, that we will also commit orally to to affirm our just need to find it. That we understand it and that we will follow it. I'm paraphrasing. That we have read, understand, and agree to adhere to the trustee code of conduct. And this code of conduct provides the framework to ensure that trustees of the Comox Valley School District act in a manner that promotes the values and vision of the district. And I'm reading from the policy. Trustees are entrusted to lead with transparency, integrity, and respect, ensuring that all decisions and actions are centered on student learning, equity, and well-being. The policy is grounded in the principles of decolonization and indigenization, and commits to upholding ethical governance that is aligned with our strategic plan's vision, values, and goals. And that's just a small piece of many of the important words that are in this trustee code of conduct. And so trustees who have their code before them, our hope is that together we will sign these, and then they will be kept on record.
My name is so long. I read it every time.
Just
There's
remind
not,
them.
there's not enough space. And I apologize, trustees, virtually, that you don't have yours to do so that we can watch you, but we know you will.
I like the motion. I can see it, Susan and Christy, thank you.
All right. Thank you. A lot of firsts tonight. Alrighty, and then moving on to the board governance plan. There is one in our package, but there was a revised one that was here tonight that was on the back table, and that trustees have in their hands or have in their inbox. And the board governance plan provides, well, I think probably every trustee might have a different interpretation, but I've tried my best. So it provides a transparency and accountability through reporting. The board governance plan weaves the strategic plan and our governance rules together. And the intent of this plan is to review and revise with the progress populated. You'll see there's a lot of progress areas for us to populate, and that the plan will evolve as our priorities evolve and with completion of our goals. And so the board has spent, I would say, a considerable amount of hours working on this and trying to, in a transparent way and in a way that aligns with our strategic plan and in our sometimes tricky work as governors, put on paper and for public to see what our plan is and how we're hoping to achieve it. And so while I know all trustees worked on it, I'm wondering if anybody has anything else that they'd like to add that I may have missed or might want to share in a different way. Okay.
I would like to just mention that it was quite a few sessions to have this plan created, and it's in the format that it's in right now. And I just wanted to thank Candace for her help in making it look as good as it does, because in some of our meetings, it was a lot of our communications back and forth. There was paper all over the windows and everybody's input. And so it was like Linus with his blanket at one point, and now it looks like this. So I just wanted to thank Candace very much for that work for us. Thank you.
And Jeremy, I think we'd like to thank you for your work as well too, because you also worked with us to try to unpack, to provide in a coherent way what we were trying to say.
Well, if I could respond with a thank you, I think from the perspective of having a strategic plan and then looking at all departments and schools to start to develop a plan to actualize the strategic plan. I appreciate the leadership of trustees demonstrating clear connections and definitive action connected directly to your own strategic plan and modeling the way in that respect for all of us in the organization.
I would have thanked you too, but I've thanked you too many times today, so I just a love around.
Thank you. Thank you.
Could I get you to move the motion?
Oh yeah, I can move the motion. That the Board of Education of School District Number 71, Comox Valley, approve the 2025-2026 Board Governance Plan as presented.
Thank you for seconding, Trustee McConnell-Kane. opportunity for hands on comments, and seeing none. All those in favor? Great, I see all the hands, right? And that's unanimous. And thank you. We have no correspondence, and it is 8:23, and I'm going to look to see if there was any electronic communications. So they could be emailed to the superintendent and myself. So seeing none, no worry about having to get all of that in order. We have 15 minutes for the public question period, and just always hopeful that we can get as many questions in as we can. And if you ask your question directly and we need more information in order to respond, we will certainly ask for clarification. And just looking to the public in the room tonight to see if there are any questions relating to any of the agenda items. They're seeing one. Okay, thank you. And then if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and the organization you represent, if you're asking a question representing your organization.
Sean Holland from the Comox District Teachers Association. My question is tied to the Gender-Based Violence Committee report. Before I ask the question, I just want to say, wow. On two levels. One, this is the most thorough, in-depth report I think I've ever seen come from a committee, a trustee report for a committee. I very much appreciate the work and effort that went into this. And wow, in the fact that our district produced this, that there have been times in doing my work in the district where I would have been extremely skeptical that our district could have done something like this based off of its past actions. So to see that shift and change is very exciting. So my question is, what support, if any, can the CDTA and teachers as a whole provide in terms of advancing this?
Thank you for your questions. I think we need to go through the next steps and to see what the feedback is from the superintendent after they review the report. But I will turn to the superintendent to see if you have a response.
Well, first of all, just really appreciate the question as allies in the work of creating safe spaces for every person in our learning community. I think that there's going to be lots of opportunity to carry forward some of the recommendations. It's going to involve all of us, and I think that there's going to be lots of collaborative opportunities to sit together around this work. And so I'm looking forward to those conversations together. So thank you.
And I think in response to your comment is that it's a testament to the people of the district included, like that the district created space and place for the committee to do its work. This was also feels like it was woven into the WOW.
Jen Fisher, DPAC Vice Chair. Funny enough, as Sean was talking, I looked over and said, we have to now ask a question. We can't be the only, we cannot ask one. And we were actually writing down the exact same question that Sean, as he was saying it. So that's great to know that as partners, we're all in alignment, that we also would like to be able to know how we can support the continued work of the board and the Gender-Based Violence Committee. So I guess ditto would be the answer. So that will be accepted. The second question that we had come in, it's regarding the travel through the chair. As a district, how do we ensure that the first student is following the correct policy and procedures when it comes to student safety?
So it's in reference to the report?
Yes.
and the safety,
Yes.
plans and the safety initiatives that First Student is doing.
Yeah, through the chair, I think we may need to take some time to get a more fulsome answer, but we do have Molly here. So Molly, not to put you on the spot, but if you have an answer tonight and if we need to go further, we definitely support that. But go ahead if you have some.
I can say that First Student and the school district are always collaborating on policy. They are a nationwide organization, so they do have their own safety procedures. However, we as a district have the ability to kind of guide if we feel like there's gaps in those. So I would just implore anybody, if they feel like there's something specific that's missed, to just reach out to the busing at sd71.bc.ca, and we can raise that with our transportation partner.
No further hands raised and nothing coming in across the wire that hasn't come in across the wire another way.
I've been told I need to ask a question.
Okay.
No, it'll be a comment, and with the work around gender-based violence, I need to let you all know that work has started. It's been going on, and we look forward to being active participants going forward, but we've been working hard to increase staff capacity. We've been working hard to increase student education. We've been promoting consent awareness for a good number of years, not diminishing the work that has to be done. Recognizing there's still lots of ways to go, lots of work to be done.
Thank you for your creative question.
That wasn't. Can we help?
Yes, see, there you go. I knew you'd get there. Yeah, thank you. All right, seeing no further questions from the public, I believe we've reached the end of our agenda tonight.
Motion to adjourn?
To adjourn.
Yes and yes.
Let the Board of Education School District 71 adjourn this meeting.
Okay, and seconded by Trustee Aldinger. All those in favor? The meeting's adjourned at 8:31.
Thank you, Ken.